Welcome everyone, Dr. Thor here. Get ready for Gnosis. Well, I want to show you some books that I've recently located about radionics in foreign languages. Apparently there's quite a bit of books published, particularly in Italian, and quite a bit in French, covering radiothesia, which I believe is a French term, I should say, which they kind of invented professional pendulum and dowsing work. But for one reason or another, the actual Italians have been very active in the radionic industry. And there is a radionic group in Italy. And certainly they're publishing lots of books that are very interesting, very metaphysically based, etc. So you got the French, the Italians, and there is a fair amount of literature written in the last 20 years in German on radionics, and particularly their theft of Rife-type technology called bioresonance, which is using frequencies and everything else. And I will cover that in another video because it's fairly complex. We do have one book on right here, which I recently picked up, this large hardcover book. Even has a little page marketing. It's got very quality paper. Let's see if we can pull back here a little bit. It's hard to get good shots of these bigger books. So it goes into all this, and I will go through this and pick out salient points, things that are interesting, and let you know about them. And of course, I don't know if these are rates or not. Probably not. I have to go through it, and we'll look at it and find out what kind of values it has and what we can cherry pick out of this. But bioresonance, which is basically frequency-based healing, which they have very expensive, typically German, here we go with the, it's only $50,000 for this. Oh, the government paid me to make this to get rid of their Nazi cash. So you're going to run into a lot of that type of stuff from the Germans. And, of course, there's really nothing happening radionic-wise in Germany. They're not really building much of anything in that area. And there is some sort of goofy German radionic group, which I'll have to check into. But, I mean, you're talking about dry holes. We don't really have to go to a country that copies everything and has nothing new. But this is a combination of bioresonance, otherwise known as ripoff of Rife, and radionics, which, of course, they change all C's to K's because they're cocky cool. Theory and practice of the method. So we'll see what they have to do. As I said, it's well done. Of course, all government-sponsored, government money, because nothing comes from the private sector. What's interesting is that while they poured hundreds of millions of dollars into bioresonance, you can't find any practitioners in Germany to speak of, and doctors have no idea what's going on with that. They don't use it. It's one of the many German cons you run into. But I'll let you know what's going on with this in the future, and as I said, we'll cherry pick the actual information out of this book as with the other ones. As I said, the interesting area seems to be the things that are coming out of Italy. Here's radiesthesia, radionica, with that Latin flavor. And they give you tons of rates in here, which I will republish in some fashion. So aloe vera rate. Here's all the rates. Very long rates. I'm not sure. People don't even have machines that have that many dials on them. So it's I'll have to figure out what that's all about. There's all sorts of stuff here. Again, more rates. Eliminate depression. Melatonin. Acne. So there's a lot of rates in here. This book is loaded with rates, and here's a pendulum chart. More pendulum charts. Here's the classic thing you see everywhere. So they've been infected by that nonsense. More charts. So it's very, very interesting. And here he is. Milano. So these are kind of difficult to get. I'm not sure if you can get these in the U.S. or not. And here's again Magica Radionica. And this person has been producing several books on radionics, dealing very metaphysically. And let's go through this yet again. I believe correctly, there's a lot of, here again is a chart. Let's see if we can get a little more. Here's an interesting transfer chart. More transfer charts. So there's some very good information here. There certainly is some imagination coming out of the Italian group of radionic people. See what else we can find here. So there's lots of little, this is a cool little design here that produces energy. Another good design. And we're going to be taking a lot of this stuff and putting it in a fashion where other people can use it. Offering some of this stuff. Here's a chart, which is an empowering. More charts. Here we go. Indian, Jewish. Here we go again. Oh, here we go. Indian, and then, of course, this is Solomon's Pentacles, probably. Here's some more Pentacles. So it's a lot of it. It looks like there's a whole bunch of these, which are really cool. And we will be helping people to reproduce these in the future as well. Here's, I guess this person does radionic consultations. Yeah, you want to talk to Radionic? Here you go, boy. So that's very interesting, and this person has written several books, a lot of them very metaphysically based. Here's another book, a Magica Radionica, Techniques of Magic. And this is loaded with, here's the universal pendulum, which I find quite interesting. Very interesting pendulum that takes a lot of work to figure out. Here's images. Again, symbols, lots of symbols, how to use Chinese symbols. What is this? Here's another circuit, another type of circuit. Lots of circuits. I mean, this is loaded with practical information, how to use all these designs. That's an unusual one. And again, I'm going to translate all this stuff maybe next live. Hopefully this one, when I have lots of time and are bored, because I have so many supporters on Patreon that I have the time to sit down and get this arcane knowledge out to the public. Huh? Oh, you hit your head, Dr. Thor? And these are all great old symbols. I believe this is the old Christian symbol representing Christianity. Abracadabra. Hey, Mario, you see that? This is the Atlantean. This is supposed to be an Atlantean shape. I'm not sure where all that came from, but certainly is an Atlantean shape. They sell things like this. Very interesting. Supposedly Atlantis. Some more interesting. Let's get you out here so we can see a little better. So you can see how metaphysical this is. They're mixing an awful lot of metaphysical, magical, occult. Oh, that word, Dr. Thor. We don't like that word. Makes me poo. I just loaded with all these radionic active information. That looks like a cool one. Very interesting stuff. Here's some stuff. I'm not sure what all this means, but these are more sigils and designs for certain things. And of course, they're pointing to the north. There's a typical occult. More, this is, of course, Indian in nature. I don't know if that's Hindu or whatever. This looks very interesting. Is that a way to tap into tree energy? Fascinating. Love that idea. Is this some other way of making a device? It's all Italian to me. Hola, mola. Shows you how to make some items here. Even shows you how to make a pyramid. I mean, this is a great book and very comprehensive. This is the old, you don't see this talked about much in Western literature, but these are amplifiers that were found in Egypt. These basically a circle that is cut in half. Interesting. I believe this is muscle testing. Email, telephone. And this is written by a woman. And as I said, let's see, that name, Dorina. Which is interesting. You don't see too much radionic literature written by women. It's good to see that women are into this. It's a little too technical for them, unfortunately. Well, I can't think of any book written by a woman other than the woman I published many, many years ago, who I won't talk about because she's a little piece of garbage. What does it say? Accomplished in opera. Italian. She sings at the operas. So a very cool book. I don't know who's interested in this. I'm sure you can probably hunt this up somewhere in the Western world. Then maybe they have it on Amazon where you're at or whatever. Techniques of Magic. 50 diagrams. Great little book. These are all great books. Here's another one. And other ones, though, those of you who want to spend time translating and looking into unusual arcane material that's difficult to get in the English language, none of this has been translated. As I said, I hope to cherry pick this stuff and bring that to you. But it's amazing how much literature on radionics there is. Much more than there is in British. I should say British English. Which there's really no new books from Britain whatsoever in radionics at all. The last one came out, I don't know, 5-6 years ago by Frank's, his 21st Century Radionics, a pretty boring book, expressing nothing and giving you nothing other than, let's talk about Ruth Drown again. And there is only garbage presented by Peter Renetti, the American computerized, who apparently seems to love the Satanist Charles Casamado, thinks he's wonderful. So, I mean, there's really nothing out there. I hope to write a bunch of little booklets myself, probably things like this, to publish in the future, because that's how people read stuff and get to know about the subject matter. That is on the plans, along with so many other things. But you know, writing books is very difficult, very time-consuming, and very low profit. It's really hard to get overly motivated. It's better to build and design and to get going some sort of type of tool where you can make hundreds of dollars on it instead of making a couple of bucks on a book. But here they are again, people, as we am. If you want to look it up, Magic Radionica. Idragada. Magica Radionica. Tarina Delfina. Enjoy, go for them. It's always nice to see this literature. As I said, I'm trying to collect all this information for cherry picking. There are some good books in French, but what's fascinating is that getting used books in most languages in Europe is something that nobody discounts. You can pick up things for dollars or a few bucks in the United States and used bookstores or on eBay. Europe in general does not have a thriving used book market. They don't have a thriving alternative market at all. People hold on to their stuff, and it seems like not very many good stuff is owned. You'll see a book that's 10, 20 years old on the French eBay, and it will be selling for outrageous prices when there's absolutely no demand for it. Welcome to Europe. No air conditioning, no movement of air, no screens on your windows, no elevators, just expensive shit. Until next time.